So briefly about the implementation of Worker. So essentially it's a front end, and that has the commands wsub, wresume, and so on. Those are just Perl 5 scripts. And then wsub and wresume will actually generate PBS scripts which are submitted through qsub. The backend, so the actual thing which is doing the work, is the Worker application itself, and that is a C application using MPI for node communication, for process communication. It can be used independently, by the way, which may have certain use cases as well. So how does it work? Essentially there's a master process and a number of slave processes. And so the slave processes, once they come online, they query the master for work, and the master will then reply with work for that particular slave. The slave is going to compute, and once it's done, it is going to send back status information to the master so that it can be recorded. And then again, the slave is sent some new work. And this continues up to the point where all work has been exhausted, so basically where all slaves are busy computing the very last work items, and when that happens, a stop signal is sent to the slaves, and they stop executing, stop working, and you're done. Basically, that's how it works. So essentially, you have n+1 processes, so the number of slaves plus one master process. And again, if you have, for instance, 64 processes, you would have 63 slaves and one master process. Unless you use -master switch, then you have 64 slaves and one master. So basically these are some diagrams in order to document this properly. And a little bit about the atools implementation. So basically the front end are actually just bash scripts, and those are wrappers around Python scripts. Essentially the Python environment is contained within the bash script, so it will not interfere with your own PBS files. Bash features are used in PBS scripts. So the backend is in fact Python, and it is Python 2.7. It will be ported to Python 3 once that is the default on most of the compute nodes in our clusters. So there are a few features in bash which are useful to be aware of. So the $parenthesis that executes a command and will assign the output, will capture the output, and in this case that will be assigned to a variable. And then the second thing which is useful is to create a temporary file handle using a command, and using that as input file handle to a bash command, in this case source.